Welcome back to another Boom or Bust editorial. I'm your host Terry, and today talking about the Kawhi Leonard decision and the winners and losers from that. So I'm excited. Just a podcast. I've been doing a lot of film lately. It's nice to just talk. But yeah, so of course over the weekend we had the bombshell where Kawhi Leonard decided to go to the LA Clippers, while in turn having the Clippers trade for Paul George. So big stuff, huge stuff. And I have a lot of feelings about it. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna kind of bounce back between winners and losers because I think they're kind of connected. But number one, the biggest winner from this is Kawhi Leonard. Absolutely. For so many reasons. And really, he was the winner before this even happened. But he's the winner of this because just looking at what has happened or what led up to this moment, as far as talking about him and his nasty departure from San Antonio, was just so ugly. Like so much in the media, this and that. It was bad, bad mouthing on both sides, I would say. Whether it was Kawhi or his camp, that's what it was. To being traded to Toronto and then winning the whole thing and then coming to this offseason decision, people just bashing him for not making a decision right away like everybody else. Just all this speculation. People following in helicopters, everything. And so there was this whole thing just like, what is Kawhi Leonard doing? And there was this whole thing even after the championship, like, man, he's not healthy again. And the Warriors weren't healthy. There's an asterisk for this champion, all this stuff. And at the end of the day, he shifts the NBA. So Kawhi Leonard absolutely masterfully played this in his camp. And I mean Kawhi Leonard and his camp. They played this masterfully because they set up a situation where they understood their leverage, especially with Kevin Durant not healthy. With Kevin Durant perfectly healthy, I don't know if they win the championship, A, but B, or I don't know if Toronto wins the championship, but B, with Kevin Durant totally healthy, the power Kawhi has is a little different. And so understanding the leverage you have with that situation going on was key, because then he was able to make teams bid for him in a way that was beneficial for him. And so he now, of course, gets to go to LA. He gets a running mate that he wanted. He gets to compete, all that good stuff. But on the flip side of that, and I don't believe this is true, but some people are speculating that he held out so long in order to have the Lakers be in a bad position to get free agents because they waited so long for him. Now, again, I don't know that that's true. I don't think that's true. But what I do think is that they thought about that. I obviously think they thought about it. This isn't a superhero movie, where the villain just has this evil plan they stick to. No, I think they looked at their realistic options and said, hey, it's a win-win for us. If I go to the Lakers, they're not going to have money to sign anybody besides the, one exception and some minimum players. But if I don't go to the Lakers, then by the time I make this decision, they won't be able to get some of the better players. So it was a win-win for him. And I think that factored into it. So now not only did you get what you wanted, one of your biggest competitors in the West also got weakened a little bit from it as well. So there's that. And so the Lakers come up as one of the losers in this. Not only did they not get Kawhi, they lost out on some other free agents they could have pursued. And now they got a roster, but it's probably not the roster that they wanted. And so now you got a battle. And it was absolutely perfectly done. Because Kawhi got to sit back and say, hey, this is what I want. I mean, and we know that's just the big stuff. We know the little stuff. I want my trainer. I want y'all to answer these questions. All this stuff. He made the Lakers meet individually. Like, he did what he wanted. He called ball shots. And so He gets what he wants, and the Lakers kind of lose out on that. Now, one of the other big winners, at first I was going to say the city of LA, but they don't appreciate crap. They have two really good NFL teams, and you see they didn't even care still. So I don't think the city of LA won. I'm not even going to give it to them. I'm going to give it to the NBA fans. I think we all won. And not just because Los Angeles has two big ticket teams that's going to be battling each other. Those games are going to be amazing. But we got parity. And I've talked about this for so long. I talked about the super teams, all this good stuff. And it's weird to me how people spin stuff to make themselves seem right. So I have all these people pushing back about super teams and big threes and all this stuff. And you got the talking heads. This is good for the league. This is exciting. And then yet, when the Warriors break up, when we avoid the Lakers forming up, when we get these, duos kind of moving around the league, everybody's excited. Oh, man, yeah, whoa, wow, this is cool, because we don't know who's going to freaking win. We don't know who's going to be in the finals. Actually, having multiple teams compete is kind of cool. Duh! I've been saying that. And so, again, we win. I have not watched NBA games in years outside of the finals. And sometimes the conference finals. But I don't really watch it. It just... when the whole super team era stuff was starting, I watched early on in LeBron, but really after he went to Cleveland, I didn't care. Like, I just stopped watching. I couldn't. It was just like, whoever LeBron's playing with, they're going to finals. He's super teaming up. And then the Warriors happened, which was good basketball, but then KD happened, and you're like, okay, well, the Warriors going to keep doing this. And so, yeah, I haven't been watching. I'm going to watch next season. I'm going to watch these LA matchups. I'm going to watch to see how Brooklyn looks in anticipation with KD coming back eventually. I'm going to see how Portland gets to compete now with their duo versus other duos. I'm going to see how the Warriors can gel together. Hopefully they get rid of D'Angelo Russell, but I'm excited. Like, I haven't been this excited in a minute, and it's not just me. Everybody's acting excited. And this is what I've been asking for a while. So anyway, I think we win. Now, one of the losers is Russ Westbrook. And not for the reasons you think. Not just, we don't have Paul George and, he might get traded, all this stuff. To me, the biggest reason Russ loses in this is because Russ, his reputation is at an all-time worst. And I'm not a huge fan of Russ, so I understand that much. But what I will say is that it is kind of messed up that Russ Westbrook was the one that stayed. He stayed and didn't complain. Now, part of that is because he don't really care a whole bunch about winning. He more caring about being the man. But still, he stayed. Again, you see some of the stuff people complain about, cry about. Oh, it's not working, trade me, like all this stuff. And here's Russ Westbrook, had Harden and KD. Harden ended up going, okay, me and KD doing our thing. You lost KD for nothing. Now, that was part on KD's fault, but still, the team didn't maneuver nothing sweet. They didn't get nothing. KD just walked. He didn't stump his feet and say, get me another superstar. He didn't say, get me out of here too, because y'all don't know how to operate. No, he kept continuing to play. Without Paul George. You got him Paul George. Okay, I'm going to play with Paul George. And then when Paul George decides to up and leave, then Russ all of a sudden is on the chopping block like, oh, yeah, it's your fault, Russ. People don't think they can win with you, which I don't think they can. But it's like his head is on the platter, and he kind of did it the right way. I mean, you got Dame Lillard. Dame talked about he doesn't recruit. He doesn't want to team up. Dame is loyal to Portland. He wants to win in Portland. He's clapped up. Of course, he's a different guy outside of the court, but he's clapped up for that. When you have Russ doing it for years and no one really gave him props for that. And so I feel like that's kind of messed up. And so now he's going to get traded. People talking about a fat contract that they act like he don't deserve now. And it's just, it's unfortunate. Now, on the other side of that, here's a winner and a loser. Paul George. Paul George, obviously a winner. He goes back home to California. He teams up, which I think not only with one of the great players right now, but such a great story. These two from mid-major teams used to play each other, and they get to go back and represent the city of LA in this battle. So obviously, big winner for all that. But on the other side, here's the one thing people aren't talking about that I have talked about a lot. Paul George is bogus. Paul George, to me, his action was worse than KD. It was more offensive than KD's when he exited OKC. Because KD had been there. KD, you could say he gave his all or whatever, but KD gave them big time stuff. And when it was time for him to make a choice as a free agent, he decided to make a choice. It really didn't matter. Like, people get mad because he went to Golden State, of course. But it really didn't matter where he went. He was leaving. And so you get to free agency, you've earned that choice. You did what you had to do, and now you're going to make a choice on where you want to go next. That's perfectly fine. Paul George got to free agency and made his choice to be in OKC less than a year ago, or around a year ago. And then he got on stage and all that. I'm staying. He committed to OKC. And then a year later, you're asking for the trade. Like, to me, if it came out, hey, I told the Clippers, get Paul George. They gave the Thunder something they couldn't refuse as an offer, and they gave up Paul George. Perfect. Clean my hands. It's all good. But when it comes out that, hey, I want Paul George, so then Paul runs, or, Kawhi recruits Paul George, so Paul runs to the team and say, get me out of here. I want to go play with Kawhi. That's messed up. You just gave your word. I get it. Again, if you're a free agent, which you were, if you want to go to LA, which you had a chance to do, then do it then. You decided to come back. You made that choice. No one made you do that. So you gave your word by signing a contract. You made a commitment to this city and to the fans. And then you up and run and say, get me out of here a year later. And so everybody can talk about Russ and all. It ain't got nothing to do with Russ. He saw something bigger and better. It's like getting married and then, you got the next week, you got one of the girls you always was attracted to say, I want you now. And then you say, okay, well, yeah, let's get divorced. I'm about to go roll with her. Like, that's just messed up to me. Because, again, KD didn't promise nothing. KD said, I'm going to go be a free agent and make my choice. Y'all going to be considered. And that's what he did. Paul George made his choice. He said OKC, and then he reneged on it. And so, I think he's a loser in that sense. Like, eventually, I don't think people are going to look on that too fondly. Right now, everybody's lost in the team up, and they're lost in the Russ Westbrook rumors of him getting traded and the Thunder rebuilding. But again, I do believe people won't look back on that favorably, because to me, that was a worse move than KD. Lastly, you got a number of teams, but I forgot to throw in there Toronto. Toronto's a loser. And we said it. A couple people said it. But I was really shocked to think about it during the playoffs. I was like, man, this could be the first team to win a championship, or at least first in my memory, to win a championship and a few weeks later be in rebuild mode. And that's where we are. Now, they aren't in full rebuild mode yet, but best believe it's coming. They got nobody. Kawhi, you got Kyle Lowry, but they're not competing. Some people say, oh yeah, you got a good team to compete. Yeah, when it's built around Kawhi Leonard. Now all those pieces don't seem to fit so well without Kawhi there in the middle. And so they could be tough and feisty, but a lot of them on 1-year deals, like, they're blowing this up. I wouldn't be shocked if they blow it up in the middle of the season. I don't think they're going to wait. But they're going to blow this thing up. So they're going into rebuild mode. And yeah, they won a championship, so it's hard to call them a loser. But yeah, it's just kind of hard to be that top of the food chain and then fall so far to the bottom. But anyway, that's it for me. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Who are the winners and the losers, the biggest winners, losers from the Kawhi Leonard decision. Go to comment, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.